Hi, my name is Nathan Simmons. I'm with Colonial Life in Longview. I'm going to be seeing you guys this next Monday, along with Wes Lawrence, who's one of my co-workers. We're going to be setting you guys up with some voluntary benefits that you're going to be able to look at for you and your family. Now, I'm not sure if you know how voluntary benefits work. They're supplemental to your health insurance. Basically, what happens is we put money back in your pocket. If something were to ever happen, it's discretionary spending. You get to use the money however you need to. Now, it is voluntary. You get to pick and choose what you want to do, and so you're going to have that availability to look at exactly what your family wants and needs are. But one thing I want to make sure that you do is make sure that each one of you guys thank Brandy for allowing Wes and I to come out and see you. Because she saw the value in it, and she saw the importance in making it available to you. So make sure that you thank her for that. But now, the reason we're coming out is, now I know all you have your own health insurance, wherever it may come from, but the reason that we're coming out is just last year, the leading cause of bankruptcies was due to medical bills. And what's crazy is, of those people that filed for bankruptcy, 78% of those people had health insurance. Which tells me one thing: health insurance is not the end-all, be-all that we think it is. So that's what we do, is we come and try to fill in the holes of your health insurance, because health insurance is like a block of Swiss cheese. Now, let's say you have great health insurance, okay? It's $0 deductible, which we know doesn't exist anymore. But let's say you've got great health insurance and something happens to you, okay? So now you don't owe anything to the doctor or the hospital. That's great, but let's say you're out of work for 2.5 months. Would you guys agree that 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck? Absolutely. And so now those same people that live paycheck to paycheck, but they have great health insurance, they're still up a creek because they live paycheck to paycheck. So that's going to be the first thing that you're going to be able to look at, is short-term disability, to be able to protect your income. Now, I love what I do, but I also like getting paid for it as well. And I know for myself, my wife and I, if I didn't have a paycheck rolling in, my wife and I, we'd be up a creek. And I know the last thing that you guys want to think about is more insurance. I feel like I got insurance on everything: house, car, cell phone, and TV. But to just put it in perspective, say, the chances of something ever happening to your house and you haven't taken a homeowner's claim out, it's less than 1%. But the chances of you being disabled, whether it's due to sickness, pregnancy, or an accident, is 1 in 3. And so I'll basically put it like this. If you had a toaster at your house, and your toaster spit up $2,000 a month, would you insure that toaster? Absolutely. We're going to show you how to do the same thing with a paycheck at less than an hour's wage a week. On top of that, you're going to be able to look at survivor benefits. About 61% of Americans say they don't have any life insurance at all, much less enough to sustain their family's lives for 2 or 3 months after passing, and be able to put somebody in the ground. And the main reason that I hear that somebody doesn't have anything is because they don't know where to get it. And part of that problem is, you might have some CEO at some company that wants $1 million life insurance policy. So people are lining up the door to go see that guy. But as opposed to somebody that wants $15,000, $20,000 of life insurance just to set aside to cover burial costs, there's not that many people seeking out those individuals. And that's where we're going to come in. Now, the great thing about voluntary benefits is you get to pick and choose what you want. If you want something, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. But I want to recommend 2 things to you. If you care about your family at all, look at short-term disability to protect your paycheck, just in case something were to happen. And look at $15,000, $20,000 of life insurance if you don't already have something. Because you'd be surprised how cheap it is to pair those 2 things together. On top of that, you're going to be able to look at some catastrophic illness type stuff that covers, I like talking about the big 3: cancer, heart attack, and stroke. Cancer means a lot to me because my wife's had a scare. And the minimum cost of cancer today is about $25,000 to $30,000, and that's if you have the best health insurance too. Because the way cancer works is some health insurances, they classify cancer treatments as experimental treatments, which aren't covered by health insurance. And the way the numbers work, about 68% of cancer-related costs are not covered by health insurance, which is really scary because 1 in every 2 men will be diagnosed and 1 in every 3 women will be diagnosed. I would venture to say that each one of you probably knows somebody who either currently has cancer or who's had it recently. And that's another reason why health insurance does not cover a whole lot of cancer-related bills because it feels like people are getting it left and right. Now, one thing that people don't take into account is, in a cancer-related scenario, like say, I mentioned my wife's had a scare. Where we live in Longview, we're from Longview. I love East Texas to death, but we weren't going to Good Shepherd for medical treatment in Longview. We actually looked at going to MD Anderson in Houston. And you got to take into account travel and lodging and meals. That's all stuff that health insurance does not cover, but cancer policies do. So you got to take that into account, because in that same scenario, you can go from a 2-income family to a no-income family like that. And now on top of that, someone has a heart attack every 34 seconds in the United States, and stroke's the leading cause of disability. Now, most policies, what they do for that is they do a per-day hospital stay. We don't do that because you may not be in the hospital for very long. One of my coworkers' fathers had a heart attack 2 years ago, and he was only in the hospital for 6 days, but then he was out of work for 2.5 months after that. What we do is we do a lump sum benefit, anywhere from $5,000 to $75,000, and as soon as, say, you have a heart attack or a stroke, you're paid out that amount. My coworker's father, who had his heart attack, he had a $15,000 policy with us. As soon as he had his heart attack, he was given $15,000, and he was able to use that money to help make ends meet for his family. On top of that, I recommend looking at an accident policy if you've got kids, especially that play sports that might be injury prone. I know my mother used mine a lot on me when I was in high school playing sports. And then we've also got something to look at that is designed to offset your own personal medical deductible. Let's say your deductible's $3,000. And I know most people don't have that sitting around to be able to get to when they need it. And that's what that policy is designed to do, is if you're admitted to the hospital for at least 20 hours, it's designed to get you to your deductible immediately. So we're going to have that option available to you as well. Now, again, I'm not sure if you all know how voluntary benefits works. It's strictly voluntary. If you choose something, great. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. But we're going to be able to see every single one of you. I believe Brandy should have dispersed those enrollment packets to every single one of you for you to be able to take home and discuss it with your families. But you're going to be able to sit down on Monday morning at the Egg and I. You're going to be meeting with a benefit counselor one-on-one. Regardless if you want anything or not, we do have to sit down with you. If you don't, that's fine. You're just going to log in, log out, and then you'll be on your way. And we've got some complimentary products that we're going to give you as well, just for taking the time to sit down with us. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact Brandy, and she can give you my contact information. If not, we will see you guys on Monday morning at the Egg and I.